Guys, it's Becky. If you're new here, then welcome, and if you're already a subscriber, thanks for coming back. So as you can tell from the title of today's video, I'm going to do a video on how I plan my month for less stress and less anxiety. I'm a firm believer that if I plan for things, then it eases my stress. If I haven't got to worry about what's for dinner, if I've emptied all the thoughts out of my head, if I know where the kids are meant to be and when, if I know what appointments are coming up and things like that, if my phone is clean, my emails are clean, if everything's clear, you know, it eases my stress and my anxiety, because I am a very I'm not a very stressful person, but I stress about a lot of things, and a lot of things that we stress about on a day-to-day basis, you know, we can eliminate that stress just by planning for a month, just for planning 1 month ahead. And if you don't already do this and you try it, honestly, it's life-changing. If you're already a planner, as I like to call them, then, you know, you do monthlies. But I don't know if you do it this way or in this much detail or whatever. So I'm just going to show you how I plan for the month for me. And I apologise if you hear any dogs snorting or playing, because Kobe and Nico are having a field day right now, having a play. So the three main planners that I'm using currently is the Hobonichi Cousin, an A6 and the Hobonichi Weeks. I have got the second half of the year of the Hobonichi Cousin, and this is going to be like a functional planner for me. But at the minute, all three of these, they do work for me. I can do like a monthly plan using all these, and it is really, really effective. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about, now I've got different things in different planners, and it's not 100% how I would like it to be right now, but it's where I've got the space to do things. So if you don't know, currently this is my my mental health tracker, basically my mental and physical health. So all of I rate my days, I write how my day's been, I do a mental health tracker with mood, anxiety, sleep, goals, all this kind of stuff. But in the back of here is where I do my brain dump. A brain dump, if you don't do it, is absolutely vital for less stress and less anxiety. Basically, you want to just capture everything and anything that you're thinking about, your thoughts, your tasks, your plans, appointments, recipes you want to try, places you want to visit, a language you want to learn. Just get a brain dump down. Now what I do as well to help me with my brain dumps is in the front of my A6 I've got trigger lists. I've got a planning trigger list and I've got a goal setting trigger list. All you have to do, guys, is Google trigger list and, you know, they'll come up. And basically I go through, I sit down, I go through each of these prompts, and it prompts me sometimes to think about something that I haven't already thought about. So your normal tasks and things that you think of, it's quite easy just to like get them all out on paper. But I can't stress how important a brain dump is, because it frees your mind up to focus on other tasks. If you've got everything running around and you're scared you're going to forget it and you don't write it down, you are going to forget things, for one. And for two, it's too stressful. It's too stressful. So get all that information, no matter how big, no matter how small, no matter if it's in 6 months, a year, whatever, write everything down that you possibly can into a brain dump format. Right. One thing I will say about a brain dump from there is I use a lot of different systems from a lot of different, I use a lot of aspects from systems that have been created. So there is the getting things done method. Oh, there is, why is he doing that? Why does he keep crying? You okay? Yeah, there's the getting things done method, there's the Alistair method, there's the Franklin Covey, there's the 12-week year. There's loads of different planning systems out there to help you plan. But I take little bits of those planning systems and I use them in my day-to-day planning. So once I've done a brain dump, I find it easy to then break these brain dumps down into sections, subsections. This is part of the getting things done method. This is the only part and the project part that I use. So I break them down so I know what is tasks. These aren't the official getting things done method titles, but these are the ones that work for me. So I've got task, calendar, YouTube, waiting, project, errand and reference. There's also someday maybe and things like that. You can add whatever ones. Now a project is something that's going to take multiple steps. So like if I wanted to redecorate my living room is a big project, or just sort out my summer clothes, that's a project. So once you've done your brain dump, I think it is a really good idea to sit down and do a monthly reset. Now I have done a video recently on how I do my monthly reset. I will try and remember to link it in the cards or down below, or it's literally a couple of videos back if I forget. And it's just questions that I ask myself at the end of the month and questions that I ask myself for the following month. So, you know, how did I feel overall about the previous month? Did I make progress with my goals? Wins I'm celebrating, changes for next month, and the next month's focus, which these come into fruition when we're doing a monthly setup. What the next step is always, I mean, I do favourites and what I'm watching, what I'm reading. They're for memory purposes. The main meat and bones of it is your monthly reset is analysing how you're spending your time, analysing what is working, what isn't working. You know, are you working on your goals? Have you completely forgotten about your goals? Are you the kind of person that set up goals for 2023 in January and you haven't revisited them at all, or you're not revisiting them enough? So it's all about thinking about your previous month. And what I do when it gets to the end of the month, because, you know, I forget things, so I'll just go through from the beginning of the month to the end of the month, and I'll look at what I've been doing and I'll look at what's been happening, and I've got all the information in here to go, oh, I had this that day, and oh, I remember that, and that, this and that and this and that, and that's where I get all the information for my monthly reset. But I think it's important that you reset so you can leave that month behind you and you can take all the information from that month that you need to do that is positive, and you can follow it forward into the next month. So after you've done your brain dump, you just leave that to one side. If you want to put it into sections, you can. Then you do a monthly reset, or you could do your monthly reset first, either or, you do it either way. The next thing that I like to do on a monthly basis is just focus in on my goals, like focus in on what my goals were. Now I wrote my goals down initially in my sterling ink planner, which I don't really use anymore. I've still got it. It's like easy to hand, she says. Where is it? I think I've put it somewhere. Oh no, here it is. So at the beginning of the year, and I'm going to do it different next year because I'm not going to be using sterling ink, I had all of my goals. I had health, mental and physical, family and relationships, kids education, home, YouTube and Insta, and finances. And I broke that down into someday maybe, 1 year, half year, quarterly. I didn't do quarterly because I couldn't. Some of them aren't, you can't break them down like that. This is very much in detail, and I did struggle to do it like this, but I do like to take a glance at this and see, you know, where did I expect myself to be? And on a monthly basis, I write down what goals I want to focus for on that following month. So have I been over focusing on my home and not focusing on my physical health? Or, you know, have I been putting off projects that the following month I really need to do? Like for example, my project has been sort my clothes out, you know, swap from winter to summer, and I've been putting it off, but it's really nice weather now and we're going into June. What's the matter, Nico? We're going into June, July, and the weather's going to get better, so that needs to be done. So I focus in on, and I've always wanted to do exercise, but it's only last month that we started, and then we're really pushing for it in June. So that's on there now. Things that weren't on there in the previous months might come into the month that I'm currently doing. So I write down new goals that I want to focus on for June. If I do other things, that's great, but these are the main things that I want to focus on for the month of June. So I've got my brain dump, I've done my reset, so I know where I've been and where I'm at now and what I want to focus on. I've done my goals for coming up to the next month, what I want to focus on. You can do this, guys, in a notebook. You can do it in any old, like, kind of notebook you have lying around. If anything, I would recommend your brain dump first, just being on a scratch bit of paper, because it's it can be, if you've never done one before, it can be absolutely, your brain dump can be absolutely massive, because you'll just want to word vomit all onto the page, and everything and anything. And you can always come and keep adding to this in the weeks, the months, whatever. but always have like a running brain dump task list, if you will, so you know what you need to do. So the next thing that I think is really important is to set up a monthly calendar. Now you can do this digitally. Can't get my words out. You can do it digitally on your computer, on your phone. You can do it, you know, paper wise. I like to do it on paper. This isn't a very good example. Let me go. I've been using my weeks initially as my functional planner. So I would decorate, and then I'll come in and I will literally write in my monthly calendar. Now this is where I'm changing things up as well, is I'll write everything and anything that needs to be, that is timed and oh, can't get my words out, can I? And on a specific day, I will put on my monthly calendar, and it's going to move from the Hobonichi weeks, and it's going to go into my new functional Hobonichi cousin. And I'm talking everything. So important dates, reoccurring tasks, kids activities, work, goals if I want to schedule in specific like date nights or trips out with the kids or anything like that. My YouTube schedule, even though I do YouTube planning in my A6, I want it in here. Meal planning, that's another thing, that's another massive thing that stresses me out. It stresses me out no end. Okay, so in my Hobonichi cousin at the back, you've got these my 100s. So I've split mine up, and I've done meals on one side and I've done self-care ideas on the other. And whatever my family likes, I write down on these my 100s. If there's recipes that we've tried and we like, I'll put it down in my 100. If what tends to happen is if it's a new recipe, I'll try and write it on my daily pages, and then I'll just put the date of when I wrote the recipe, and then I can link back to that on my daily pages, because I don't use this for anything else. Again, you can do this in Astalgia, you can do it in a notebook, like meal planning, like you can do in any form, but I just like to keep track of loads and loads of meals. So when it comes to doing I would recommend doing it on a monthly calendar. That's why I'm going to start doing it in my Hobonichi cousin. But every month I set up a calendar in my A6 Astalgia. I've already got one set up for my YouTube planning, and then I've got one set up for highlights, ready to put highlights in here. But you can use this and you can just write down all the meals, and then you're spacing them out. You don't necessarily have to stick to it 1,000,000%. I'd do it in pencil to start with, and then once you've had it, you know, put it in pen. But on a monthly basis, and then on a weekly basis, I do meal planning. I get my ideas from like Tesco's website, Sainsbury's website, all the supermarket websites, they always do recipes. Pinterest is amazing. I've got loads of new ideas from TikTok and Facebook and things like that. So meal planning doesn't have to be as stressful as it is. And like, it is stressful. It's still stressful, guys, because even when I do a monthly planning and a weekly planning, and I've got 7 meals, and they go, "What's for dinner tonight?" and I can give them a list of like, you can have this, this, and this. They don't want any of it, so it's always going to be stressful. But this is all about like ways to make it less stressful. So at least you've got those meal ideas to give them, and you know that you've got the food in stock. It's saving you money because you're only buying what you're cooking, and yeah, it's just more cost effective in that way. So meal planning definitely 100% needs to be done, and that again goes into whatever monthly calendar that you want to use, or whatever way you want to track it. Definitely 100% is do meal planning. So just to recap on what we've done so far, so we've done a brain dump, we've done a reset, we've done our goals, we're setting up our monthly calendar with our important dates, our recurring tasks, kids activities, work activities, goals, meal planning, anything and everything. If you're a YouTuber, you can do your YouTube schedule on here, you can do your Instagram schedule on here, like especially in the Hobonichi cousin, because the boxes are really, really big. And that's another thing, just make sure that whatever you need to plan, you've got the space to do it, basically. So if you haven't got a big planner, just make loads of monthly calendars in a notebook and use that. Have a station we have a calendar on our fridge, and everything that is to do with the kids or us or appointments and anything like that goes on there. We have a meal planner on the fridge. I write down all the meals every month. I do this so that it's just making things easier for that month. So the next few things are just things that I do on a monthly basis, just to give me a little less stress and less anxiety, hence the title. So another thing I like to focus in on is finances. So I do my finances literally probably daily. I'll check the apps on my phone, because you know, fraud can happen quite quickly, so I would recommend that you're checking your balances quite often. I have a spreadsheet that I have created, and it has all of our income and all of our expenditure, because I get paid weirdly at different times of the month, and Chris gets paid once monthly, and we have bills coming in and out all throughout the month. So I have this spreadsheet, and it's broken down into weekly, and it's the simplest spreadsheet you'll ever see in your life. It's got a column for incoming, a column for outgoing. I do a little sum to add up that, and then I take away my outgoings from incomings, and it gives me an amount. So I know how much I've got to spend that week, and I do that for all the weeks. So I know that how much money we've got extra to spend that week on something, or if anything at all. So finances is a real stress on people, especially with this day and age, the cost of living and all that. So if you've got a good grip on your finances, you're going to have less stress. If you're not monitoring your finances at all in any way, shape or form, then you're gonna be so stressed, guys. You need to like write it down, do a spreadsheet. You don't have to be like really tech savvy to do it. It's a simple equal sum and just add things up. It's like it's ridiculously easy, but you need to know what's coming in and what's going out when, because if you don't, and then you end up overspending, or you're going into your overdraft and things, you're going to get stressed, because it's one of the most highest forms of stress is money nowadays. It simply is, and it's always been, because the cost of living just increases, and when you work, the wages aren't going up. But that's here nor there. You need to keep track of your finances. Do check your bank balances. You know, don't fall for these fraud scams. They're getting so sophisticated nowadays. Just don't fall for any of it. If your bank contacts you by messaging or anything, delete it. Ring them up. Anybody contacts you, delete it. Ring them up. Don't click any links or anything anywhere, because you will get caught. You will fall for it, because they're so sophisticated. But yeah, finances is a massive thing, especially on a monthly basis as well. I like to know, how much we've got spare, where can I allocate that money to. I don't do cash envelopes system. I've thought about it, but it doesn't really work for how we get paid and things. So I know, if the kids needs clothes, I need to take some money from here and put it there and move it all around, and it's stress-free then. I can just go on, check the finances and go, okay, we've got no spare money this week, but we have next week, I'll move it to there, yada, yada, yada. So finances, really, really important. Another thing that I think is really, really, really important for like a month, like a monthly reset kind of thing, is electronic reset. So if you're anything like me, you take screenshots of things on your phone, you get loads and loads of text messages, and you don't want to delete them until something's happened. Like purchases, for example. If I purchase anything, I will like flag it. I'll flag it red that I've purchased something, whereas I could just write that into a, I have it in here, but whenever I purchase something, I put it on my little purchases, and then I'll mark the date that I ordered it, whether it's Stackry or UK, and then date delivered. So you can delete all of those emails out of your inbox. If you've got anything on a monthly basis, just spend a quick 10 minutes decluttering your photo apps, the screenshots that you've taken, get the information out of them, put it wherever it needs to be put, or even just print it out go on Canva and just put loads of pictures on like an A4 sheet, and then print that out on printer paper, and you've got all your screenshots, and then just stick it in your planner. But yeah, declutter everything, because it all builds up, and then your storage gets full, and that's stressful. And it's all about alleviating any kind of stress that you can alleviate. So do an electronic reset. your emails, your messages, your screenshots, anything in notes. When I'm in bed at night, I tend to write loads and loads of notes. I do YouTube ideas and things like that, and I've got places in my planners where these things can go. So what I tend to do, I mean, I'm quite good, I do it weekly as well. I'll just fill in the information where it needs to go, and then that's done. And then the final thing, for like how to plan for like a less stress and anxiety month, is set up any trackers that you want to set up that are monthly trackers, so that it's all ready for you to fill in and go when the new month starts. But that's like an individual thing if you're tracking anything. I think the other things, the other 6 main things are the ones that will help the most for just to make things easier. So a brain dump, a monthly reset including goals, set up your monthly calendars, meal planning, finances, electronic reset. If you do all of those things and you do them properly, then 100% you're going to be less stressed. You're going to be less stressed. If you're currently not doing them and you do them, you're going to see such a difference. And if you think that you're currently doing it, hone in on it, hone in a bit more. Make sure you're putting your goals on your monthly calendar. Make sure you're putting meals on there. Make sure you're putting important dates. If you've got a birthday coming up on Friday, make sure you put on whatever day you need to buy a card for this birthday. Don't just rely on your brain remembering or task lists and things like that, because when you're filling in your monthly calendar, it's easy for you to see if you're doing it 3 weeks in advance. Oh, there's a birthday. Oh, I'll just write on Monday, get card. And then when it comes to your weekly planning, you can just look at the monthly and everything's already on there. A lot of people don't use monthly calendars, and they're so useful. There's so many things you can put on a monthly calendar, and then all the information's there. It's one thing. It's just one monthly calendar that you have to look at, and everything's there. And when you do your weekly planning and then your daily planning, it all just flows. It all flows. That's why we have monthlies in our planners, and I just never understand why they're not really used. So my next video that I'm going to do is going to be doing a monthly plan with me, like a functional one, so that you can see me putting all this information down. But I wanted to do this as a separate video because I just wanted to hone in on the points that I think will definitely help to have like a less stressful month. And that's what we all want, isn't it? We don't want to be stressed. We don't want to be anxious. We just want an easy life. And I think if you follow these 6 things, then you're going to have a bit of a better easy life. I hope so. Anyway, so I hope this video was informative, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments if you did or you didn't, and yeah, I'll try to keep doing more informative videos like this for you guys, and yeah, I'll speak to you in my next video. So bye.